Hello everybody, Dandy here once again for a quick and dirty tutorial on how to use Thunderstore Mod Manager to edit config files for specific games. So if you've never used Thunderstore, maybe check out my other video, which will be linked below in the description. But Thunderstore is just one of the easiest ways to mod a huge variety of games. Last time I used Lethal Company as an example to go over how to get this installed, how to kick up your mods, how to share them with your friends, and how to get going. Today, we're going to be using a different example, one that I like to use a lot, so I can show y'all how to edit the specific config files of mods that provide the opportunity to do so. Not every mod has this opportunity, but some of them are designed in such a way that you can edit them so that you fine-tune your gameplay experience. So the game that we're going to choose today is Valheim. I'm going to go ahead and star it so that we don't have to scroll down every time we launch this. And then you're going to select the game. I play on Steam, so I'll choose my platform, and it'll bring me to profile selection. So we're going to go ahead and just use the default profile, because the profile isn't what's important. What's important are the mods. So this profile has no mods on it. So as an example of which mod, and I'm sorting by download count to get the popular mods, a good mod that offers a lot of customization is Valheim Plus. You can see here, not a huge description, but under categories it covers miscellaneous utility, the miscellaneous, mods, crafting, tweaks, gear, server-side enemy. It's just a whole variety of things with a lot of downloads to boot. So we're going to download this with dependencies, and if you remember the last video, that means it's going to get everything it needs to run, which is only the BepInEx pack. So at this point, you know, you might think, alright, well, if I want to edit stuff, I'm going to go to edit config. And there are things here, but usually there will be nothing here. Usually you will not see anything. And in fact, to showcase this, let's go back out of this profile. Let's create a new one, and we're just going to call this one Thunder. So let's create that, select the profile, and you can see in the config there are no files. And even when I go and download the game or the mod in question, so Valheim Plus, download with dependencies, go to config, all that's here is BepInEx. And if you click to edit this, there's some things you can do for sure, but this doesn't change gameplay things as much. This is more mod management, so we usually don't mess with this. That's because, as it says here, configuration files are generated after launching. So the default folder had it because I've used default before. But when you create a new profile and download mods, it's not going to have the config files. So what you want to do is make sure you have your mods downloaded and launch the game modded. So just like you were launching the game, you'll see it'll do the usual. BepInEx will bring up this. Don't worry about the big scary red. Then it'll launch your game. So as the game launches, it's creating those config files that you need to edit to, again, refine and kind of meticulously pour over your gameplay experience. So I could start the game here. I have a character, I have a world named Thunder that I've never done anything in, but there's no need. The game has started, the file should be created. So back, we're going to go back, and we're going to just close the game. So once the game finishes closing, which mine always takes a second, going to need to get myself a new hard drive soon, we can go back to the mod manager. So make sure that Valheim is closed, it's good. And now that we're here, you go to config and you can see that it has created additional files. Where originally we only had BepInEx, now we have an additional BepInEx for display info, and the more important Valheim Plus config file. So not all config files are built the same. Some of them look more like Word files, and those I don't tend to mess with. But Valheim Plus has a very intuitive, very well laid out, very large configuration section designed to be messed with and edited. So you can see here, it breaks each of the sections up with a header, so from the top you can go, and there's no limit to the things you can change about Valheim. So for example, let's go to gathering, right? The whole game is based around gathering materials and using them to build things, and here, you can turn on the ability to change this make changes in this section, and then change all kinds of things. So wood. Each of these values increases or reduces the dropped item from destroying objects with tools by a percentage. The value 50 will increase the drop wood from trees. The value negative 50 will reduce it. So it's all based on percentages, but you go in here and you edit. So you say here, you make it 50. That means you're going to get more wood every time you cut down a tree. That's less tree chopping for more wood. You can do the same thing with stone, fine wood, literally any material in the game. You can hike up dramatically, so it reduces the amount of time you have to spend grinding for materials. Or, if you're sadistic and like challenge runs, you can make them tune down a little bit, so you have to do more work for less reward. It really is gameplay preference at that point. Same with anything that's pickable, so flowers, berries, materials, anything that you pick off the ground. There's a huge variety of stuff you can change here. So to jump back to the top of the list, you can go through and edit so much. I'm not going to nitpick this whole thing unless y'all just want to see me go through every file. But brightness, game clock, timetable, the speed at which monsters fire projectiles. So certain enemies throw rocks or throw trees if you're fighting trolls. If you edit the projectile speed for monsters, it's how quickly those projectiles fly. So you'll have rocks flying at you like missiles. Or player projectiles. Your bow and arrow can fire at subsonic speeds if you want to edit it. There's a huge variety of changes you can make to really morph the game into the experience that you're wanting to have in that playthrough. You can make smelters work instantly and never require fuel. You can reduce the weight of common items so that you can carry thousands and thousands of variety items. Like metal can weigh less, wood can weigh less individually. You can make your armor and weapons never lose durability. It goes on, and there's so many fun changes, not the least of which are flexed around building. Like advanced building mode, which is right here at the top, and it allows you to kind of blow the building mechanics out of portion. You can build super tall, you can get rid of the limitations of building where you can't stack structures too high or you're required to have stability, so that you can build floating houses or magical towers. It's a lot of changes in one mod that really do help the gameplay experience evolve. If you're a longtime veteran of the game, it feels nice to kind of be able to change some things and focus on whatever it is that you want to enjoy, particularly in that playthrough. If it's fighting, make it harder or easier. If it's building, give yourself the ability to gather resources more simply. It's a lot of really great things. But overall, that's all I wanted to talk about. Discovering it on your own is part of the process. Again, I could do a video going through every single configuration file if you needed me to and explaining what everything does, but they're pretty intuitive. Just make sure to read the headers to understand what you're doing, and then go through trial and error. Also make sure that you save this when you're done, and if you intend to play with your friends, double check to make sure that all of your settings are synced up, because if you're hosting a server or using these files in a server scenario and they're not the same, you start running into issues, the inability to join, or just general server funk. So definitely make sure that you and all of your friends have aligned your config files. But either way, that's it for today. Very simple, very quick tutorial. It's just something that took, some friends of mine a while to figure out, and I wanted to get it out there so that hopefully you and your friends are able to dive right in and enjoy the game. So thank y'all so much for hanging out and learning about this. Please like and subscribe if I was helpful. Leave a comment if you need to know anything else or want me to go through anything else, and have a beautiful day. Thank you, everyone. Bye.